Hello, I'm Nari McDiarmid, and today Mining Journal's spotlight is on Australian copper explorer Alma Metals. I'm speaking with Managing Director Frazer Tabeart. And Frazer, you've just raised $1.75 million to explore the Briggs copper project in Queensland. What do you put the support down to?
Yeah, hi, Nori. Look, we're obviously delighted to get that support, predominantly from existing shareholders. So, these are people that have followed Alma Metals over a number of years, but and particularly in the last 24 months, whilst we've sort of taken the company away from its sort of legacy energy projects in Africa into a copper portfolio in Australia. So I think the support reflects probably two things. It reflects that a lot of people, I think, are strong believers that copper is a critical mineral going forward as the world needs to, remove carbon and go to electrification. Then copper is very much a critical mineral for that. And there aren't that many good quality new copper projects around. So there's certainly investor appetite to get involved in projects that can offer that and offer that upside. And I think, that's sort of the second part of the story is that the projects that we've got, the portfolio we have, there's a level of excitement there in that we've got a good mix of advanced projects in Queensland that we can rapidly expand a resource and perhaps get that project to a development decision in a relatively quick timeframe. But then we've sort of got the lottery ticket big win opportunity with the new opportunity in the Kimberley, which is a different style of geology, but one that does have the potential for large and potentially high grade deposits, something that could really give everybody a bit of excitement.
Well, if we look at Briggs and Frazer, Alma Metals' exploration target there is up to about 3 times the current resource of 143 million tonnes. What's the focus of your new drilling program going to be?
Yeah, as you said, the exploration target is significantly larger than the existing resource. In fact, it's between 3 and 6 times the size of the existing resource. So certainly something we're very keen to evaluate. So we have 3 sort of main targets there, the northern, central and southern porphyry targets. The central one is the one that has the existing resource on it. So we'll certainly be drilling some holes in that exploration target, which surrounds the resource. So the goal there would be to drill 4 deep holes with a view to expanding the existing inferred resource there, particularly along strike to the north. And we've seen evidence there in some short drilling that was done last year that there is mineralisation there. We can see it outcropping at surface. And certainly along the northern margin of that and at shallow levels, there are some zones of elevated grade. So that's quite exciting to follow that up. And then the other area that we'll test is the northern porphyry. And the reason we'd like to go up there is whilst there's very little drilling there, the surface geology we see looks really good. We've seen stockwork veins in granodiorites that are exposed. We've cracked them open in the field as recently as a few days ago, and we've seen copper mineralisation at surface. And that's backed up by the surface geochemistry. So, obviously very keen to get some drilling into that. And if we look at the limited drilling that's been done there historically, the grades are a little bit higher than they are to the south. So, we're hoping that this is an opportunity for some higher grade material within the overall sort of project scheme, and that obviously could have positive implications for a development scenario if we can get the resource large enough for that.
Well, back to the other side of the country, Frazer, and you mentioned the East Kimberley copper project a little earlier. Now, you've just recently signed some early access agreements there. So how are you planning to start work there?
Yeah, so we've just signed a couple of agreements with the Balangara, who are the traditional owners of the lands there. It's a big area. It's 1,000 square kilometres that we're looking to evaluate, and it's pretty rugged and pretty remote country. So certainly the first few phases there will involve helicopters and potentially even barges along some of the coastal areas. So very first part of the program, once we've got the cultural heritage clearance in place, is to go in a helicopter. We'd like to visit some of the mapped copper occurrences there, obviously just to visually see them for the first time for ourselves. Dial in the geology to make sure it's is exactly what we expect to see, and then use that experience just to help plan the logistics of a much larger stream sediment sampling program. So that would be the second phase, and I think that would be something where we'd hope to be able to collect 20 to 30 samples a day and sort of knock off that first reconnaissance program in a period of 3 or 4 weeks. Subject to getting all the clearance and adopting the right protocols to get that clearance. So the goal would be to have all of that reconnaissance done, ideally before the wet season sets in this year, so we can then evaluate the results during the wet and plan the follow-up, which will, the further down the path we get on that project, the more sort of intense on-ground activities that we'll have.
A lot on the agenda. Frazer, thank you very much for the update today.
You're very welcome.